Okay, quick little video to show you how to manage your images in Adepty. For my demonstration here today, you can see that I've got 3 text sections in here. So section 1, 2 and 3. And here's a red hot tip. I use 2 different tabs on my desktop. So one for the front end so you can see what your users would end up with. And then another tab for your administration side. So if we hop into the admin side, you can see there's my sections that I'm dealing with. Text section, so 1, 2 and 3. And we go, rightio, what do we want to do? We're going to add some images. So we add an image section and then we can add some images to that. Right, now another thing you can do is you can just drag your images in straight in there to Adepty and it will just deal with it, no worries. So I'm just dragging them out of a folder as we go and looking around to get them in the right order. And here we go. So I'm just putting in a black image so you can see what it is, and I'm also going to put the caption in here so you can see where the caption goes. Caption 1 we'll call it, right? And then if I save and stay, so with this little thing here you can choose save and then exit or save and stay. So if you're going to be working on a big document, set it to save and stay and away you go. So save and stay, and then we can go over to this other tab and have a look and see how our text reacts to that image being put in there. Because that section's at the bottom, that image goes right at the bottom, and by default it floats off to the right. And what I mean by that is if I just reorder these sections and I pop them up one and then I go save and stay, close, you can now see that what happens is that image floats to the right and the text comes down the left of it. So if we move that further up through these sections, save it again, and then we go here and refresh, boom, up it jumps like that, right? So you can keep going and you go, well, that's cool, but it's, you know, it's off to the right. I actually want it in between text sections. So you've got these layouts. I'll just quickly show you how they run. We can come in here and on any image section we can choose our layout, right? And so currently by default it runs on inline layout, and I'll just show you that. You can see here it says inline layout, so we can change our layout and we'll go to large layout and we'll go save and stay once again, and we can refresh that, and bang, there we go, our image jumps in between section 1 and section 2. Okay, which is exactly where we had it, section 1, section 2 in the admin side. And so this is what our end user sees, nice big image like that. Now note that this image is 16 by 9, it's in landscape, okay? And as opposed to portrait, which would be a lot taller. So what I'll do now is I'll put another image in there and I'll make a portrait one. So just grab that guy and I can drag him straight in, save and stay. And if I refresh my page, you can see there that we've got our image 1, and then image 1, we've got our portrait 1. Now notice how much real estate those guys take up when they're in portrait, right? If you make a mistake, it's super easy. You can just go in there and go, no, get rid of that, delete that image, save and stay, and he's gone. So super powerful. You can do all kinds of things and combinations with this. The page will just keep growing and growing and growing to suit, and that's great. So you always want to start out with how do I want my end user to view this piece of information, and what do I want them to do with it. So I'll show you a couple of other layouts and how these things can work, right? So if we come in here and say we put in all of our landscape images in there, so we've just gone through a process and we've popped them all in here. So we've got 4 images that we want to show people. Save and stay, close, and then we refresh that. We're going to end up with a long line of images, right? And they're all big images. They also all pop up to full screen as well, right? So you go, yeah, that's cool, but it's a bit kind of chunky. Well, a better way to lay that out is go and change our layout for that, and then we can say let's set that to grid layout, which is my favorite. Looks really good. and we can come in here, refresh that, and bang, look at that, beautiful. They still pop up, do all the right things they're supposed to, and it works really, really well. But the thing that we need to consider is what it's going to look like in our mobile device if our users are out in the field and they're using mobile devices like phones to look at your instructions. So if I hop over to the phone demo here, and here we are, so we've logged into Adepty as an end user, and we come in here and we go into our test page, and there we go there. Our images just stack up nicely, so even though they're in that grid, they still show up at decent size and they're still usable. They still pop up to big ones and you can arrow through them. Oh, if I could get onto the arrow, and away we go. So it's a beautiful thing. I think my touch screen's playing up because of the way I'm recording this. But anyway, let's carry on. I'll show you a couple more layouts. So if I go back to the looking at Adepty on my desktop machine. So we come in here and you go, oh well, that's good, but between section 2 and 3, I want to put another image section. No worries at all. We can just come in here and we can say, put another image section in. We can upload our images. So we go looking for our images, and that are in here somewhere. Where are my demo images? There we go. And we can say, right, we want to put in a couple more images. Right, and we don't want to float them. We want to have them on large layout, so they take up the screen. We'll move them up between text 1 and 2, and then we save and stay. And perfect. Look at that. These are our images in there. I've got my portrait ones in. Too good. Now you could go, oh, well, that's great, but I want to change that layout as well. And we could set that over to a grid layout or whatever you might want to do with it. The thing to do is to mess around it with a little bit. I always find that if you've got a big document, break it up into chunks into those sections and utilize that. It's really, really good. Let's go and have a look at those 2 landscape images in our mobile view. So we'll just whip you over to the phone view and we go back in there now. Now it's reloaded. So here's our first lot of grid images. Come down section 2, and then we've got our portrait images coming in like that. So you might actually decide that a portrait's really useful for getting a nice big image in there when you're on a mobile device. Okay, so there's a lot of options there to play around with. Anyway, that's a quick demo on images and how to use them in Adepty.